Hello and welcome to another edition of the Church Solutions Podcast.
Hi, my name is Steve Lacy.
And I'm Mike Gray.
All right, we got Mike. Mike, how's your audio today?
I don't know. Maybe okay.
All right, we had audio issues last week, and then we had audio issues with me today. So I've shut off. I just so that because I know everybody cares about this. I have an air conditioning unit that's outside my wall here in my home office, and it comes on, and it's 100 degrees in Tucson. And so it comes on quite often, and it vibrates and makes noise, and it's right outside here. So you can hear it usually when I'm recording anything or we're doing something live. So I have shut the AC off, much to my wife's uh, frustration. And so we got to get this podcast done really quick because if the house heats up too much, we will implode.
You're a
And
dead man, so time to get
yeah,
moving.
yeah. And plus, I shut my fountain off because Steve Lacy just hates it. So it's a hater. So anyhow, but all right. So with that in mind, thanks folks for watching and listening to us. We are on video as well as audio here. And we are going to, we're a company that helps churches and ministries use technology, streaming video, what else we do, mobile apps and content stuff and websites. We've been doing this for almost 20 years. And Mike Gray's been with us for a few months here. We had Mike last week that really kind of talked about his history and his past. And it's good to continue to have Mike on the team. We got Steve Lacy, our founder and director, who's back with us. You've been gone for a couple of weeks, right, Steve?
Maybe.
Yeah, you were somewhere else doing something else. So, look, today we thought we would talk. We don't normally push or talk. We're not really pushing, but I don't normally talk about other solutions to streaming always. I mean, we have included some, but COVID-19 is peaking here in Arizona as well as Florida, Texas, and like 23 states. This is July here that we're recording this podcast, and many churches and many, not just churches, but businesses and, restaurants and stuff, some states are pulling back. Gyms are closing here in Tucson. What else closed here? Bars, those kind of things. So
The pub and the exercise joint got closed.
yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, churches have religious exemptions, but there are some churches having second thoughts. You guys, where you go to church, if you still go there, you guys aren't meeting, right?
Well, we don't go, but we do attend online.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks for clarifying that. And my church isn't meeting, they're meeting online, but not meeting on ground either. So we were thinking, and I kind of came up with this, but Zoom has become very popular everywhere, not just with churches, but businesses and everything else. And actually, my organization is using Zoom. My church is using Zoom as well as streaming live to our website using streamingchurch.tv. And I thought it would be good. First, I was not really big on Zoom, but over the last month or two, I've been much more positive on Zoom. So what we thought we'd talk about today, and keep an open mind to this if you're not a Zoom user, or maybe if you were like me 5 or 6 weeks ago, weren't really open to it, keep in mind, we want to share at least 10 reasons why you should consider possibly using Zoom for at least some of the functions of your church. Because there are a lot of things here that actually it's a pretty powerful tool, and it could really help connect your people. Because, if you're in ministry, and most of the people listening to this podcast, you're involved in your church in some capacity. There's a pastor, or on the board, or leadership team person, or a key volunteer. You are very much involved in your church, and you want your people to be connected. And I don't know about you, but my group has not been meeting at all since March 15th, I think, is the last time we met. And our people have really been desiring to have more interaction. And so Zoom has really helped us. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah. Is it okay to put Zoom or Zoom competitor in the mix? This is not wholly Zoom, is it?
We're going to talk primarily about Zoom today.
All right. Well, these are techniques you can do with Zoom, but you should be able to do these with other tools as well, right?
Some of them you can, some of them you can't. For instance, Zoom has a really great feature called Breakout Rooms. And so let's start at the top, okay? Here's some reasons you might want to consider using Zoom. First of all, and I've got a little outline that I threw out to these guys, and it's not exactly crystal clear, but people could be involved and be in your Zoom meeting, and they don't necessarily have to have their video on. They don't have to have their audio on if they didn't want to. And they could be a part of your Zoom meeting, and you can get, there's different packages Zoom has. So you could have literally hundreds of people on your Zoom event. You could do it, and people could be there, and they could interact if they wanted to. And it, again, the reason I bring this up is there are some people that really want to interact and get some connection here. Nice thing about Zoom, one of the big positive things about it is it has breakout rooms. Do you guys know what I mean by that?
Well, you explained it earlier. So one thing, just quick question, is there's free Zoom and then there's paid Zoom, right?
Right.
Are we talking, are these all paid Zoom things, or are we
no, not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I had it here and I think I closed it. Mike, you're good at pulling stuff up. Zoom has different packages, and they do have a free version, which works pretty well, but then they also have different plans. And so one plan starts at $14.99 a month. That's the plan. One plan starts, I feel like I'm doing a commercial for Zoom.
Yeah, you're doing a sales pitch for Zoom.
Really, I didn't really want to do that. I just wanted to talk about how it had some features that you might want to consider. And the nice thing about this, I want to get it up front, is you can use this with streamingchurch.tv. It will sync up with us, what we're doing. But you've got a pro plan, you've got a business plan, you've got an enterprise plan, okay? But they do have a free plan. All right, so your answer to your question, Stephen Jackson, what we should, Steve's real name is Jackson. Well, your real name is Steve too, but it's Jackson is the first name. Don't you love how I give everybody these little intimate details about you? So, where am I at here? So you could do breakout rooms, and so you as a pastor or somebody could do a talk. And again, you don't have to do this Sunday morning. Maybe you don't want to do it Sunday morning. Maybe you just want to stream Sunday morning and not have any interaction. But maybe you want to do a Sunday night, or you want to do a Wednesday, or another night during the week, or whatever. You could do a little talk, and then you could say, all right, let's talk a little more about this. I've been yammering at you for 15 minutes. Now let's get some feedback. And so either people could do it right there, or you could, if you had a large group of people, 25, 30 people or more, you could say, let's do little breakout rooms and spend about 10 minutes discussing the topic that we're on, and then let's come back and get some feedback. Do you follow what I'm saying here?
Follow you. Got it.
Yep.
All right. Steve doesn't, but Mike does. So, it gives people an opportunity to connect with each other in a more intimate way during this COVID-19 deal. That they may not want to go to church and be a part of a small group. Now, Steve, you guys, I know for a fact, you guys have a small group that you do using Zoom. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. And how's that working for you?
Actually, we're in our summer break right now, but we've been doing it. It's been entertaining. So,
well,
I mean, like all the, no matter what the technology, you always have one or two that have real challenges with unmuting themselves or getting their video to show or being able to see people and
fixing their microphones.
Yeah, so we do run into that. We have run into that. It's been kind of actually comical. It's usually the same people each week are like, wow, this week it only took you 38 minutes to figure out how to get into the meeting.
Well, yeah, and look, that's we I mean, I used to do this too, right? We had online groups. Mike, you did too, and we had the same issues with Skype. We had the same issues with Google. My church has been using this, and honestly, we've had very little issues with some people. I mean, we've been doing it for about 5 weeks now. And we've not really had that many issues. So, all right. So, but here's what I wanted to also emphasize, and that is you could actually stream using Zoom instead of a live encoder. You could stream it to your website, and if you use streamingchurch.tv, shameless plug, you could stream it right to your streamingchurch.tv video chat platform. And you don't need to have OBS. You don't need to have vMix. You could actually do it with that. You could also stream it to Facebook at the same time and also to YouTube. Those of you who like torturing yourself and using Facebook and YouTube, you could do that with Zoom as well as to your website.
So just a little clarification. What this will send, if you're using Zoom to send it to your streaming church, it's going to send your Zoom meeting to your streamingchurch.tv platform.
It can if you want it to. You can enable it to do that if you want.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily, one camera on the pastor and I'm using Zoom to broadcast my service. It's really, I'm sending my Zoom meeting that my pastor's a part of onto the platform.
Yes, and you can set up Zoom, I don't even know, you can set up Zoom where you get the speaker view or you get the whole gallery view, and that shows up on the website. So what I've been doing Sunday mornings for my church is I've been flipping back and forth a little bit. So the main speaker might be talking about a topic, but I'll click over to the gallery view, they call it, and you can see everybody just kind of hanging around looking bored. You can put that on your website and you can get a look. So if somebody's watching and they don't want to be a part of Zoom, but they just want to see it on your platform, your streaming church, video chat platform, they can see that and they're not totally bored if you flip back and forth a little bit. Right. As we've talked about with streaming video, if you're able to have 2 or 3 cameras, it really kind of enhances the experience. And, obviously you could still do that with Zoom if you wanted to, I guess, but that's a little more complicated. But you can flip back and forth the gallery view, or you can set up the speaker view. So other people, somebody's yakking in the background there, Mike. I think it's your wife or something.
It's both of our wives.
Yeah, make sure you put them in their place.
I need to mute them.
Yeah, mute them. But what I'm getting at here is you could even set up speaker view so other people that maybe want to be a part of the discussion could show up on the website as well. Are you with me on that?
I am with you.
All right. Yeah. Maybe you should mute your mic.
I will do that.
Yes. So this is a typical Zoom deal here. Other people in the background talking. So, but seriously, the purpose of this podcast today was to really talk about how you can get people more involved. And I was focusing on Zoom. And you can also do church webinars using Zoom. You can do small groups, Bible studies. You can do other things besides Sunday morning. I'm mentioning Sunday morning here as an option to kind of mix things up a little bit. Because some people are like, I miss coming to church, but it's either not closed or it's either closed because of COVID or they don't want to come because of the risk.
All right, sounds great. So you outlined 10 reasons.
I did.
You did. So we've kind of gone through 4 of those, right?
I probably covered every one of them right now.
Yeah,
and I had absolutely no interaction from you guys. So there you go.
So the first one was about just utilizing breakout rooms so you can have, and I think my church had used that. Actually, post service, they do the service the normal way, and then they would break out or have set up breakout rooms for feedback or just even follow-up sessions. Okay. And then the second one you talked about is people can participate and not be on camera or not even be on audio. They can go to the Zoom meeting and just say, I don't want to show up here. Other than my name, right?
Right, exactly. And even if you did the breakout rooms, they wouldn't have to be a part of the breakout rooms if they didn't want to. You can automatically assign breakout rooms, or you can manually assign them. Yeah. You can move people around,
So and the third one was sending the stream onto your church website. You can do that right within Zoom. You can broadcast the whole thing onto your streaming church.tv or other platforms, and then you can also stream it to Facebook or YouTube or other places as well.
Yeah. And you do need a paid. I just need to jump in that that's not in the free version. So you will need to, if you want to go to other places like what you just mentioned, Steve, you'd have to have the paid version of Zoom to do that.
And so number 5 on our list you've not talked about.
So, yeah, I haven't talked about that. So, again, a lot of people ask us why doing streaming video with us. Hey, I want to record. How do I record? And we have all sorts of features with our company. But with Zoom, you can easily record. You can record it to your computer's hard drive, or you can record it to their cloud. There's a cloud setting you can use as well. And so, it will store your recordings on cloud, and you can download them and do different things with them. So, again, you can create a live event, but then you can also capture it, and then you can, upload it later to your media vault.
Yep, for sure. All right. What else can we do with Zoom or a Zoom equivalent?
I don't know. Mike's just kind of hanging around here. I guess you couldn't. There's just too much noise in the background, isn't there, Mike? There's too much. So
it's a little less noisy now, but it's all Steve's wife's fault.
You just tell them to get out. I mean, come on.
That's not it. It was my wife.
Not that I
and her wife. Yeah. Having a conversation.
All right. So the other point is that the nice thing again about anything is that you can put Zoom on a mobile device. So we're doing this podcast, and we've been doing the Church Solutions podcast lately using Zoom. We used to always do Skype, and I decided to use Zoom for some reason. But I'm glad I have. But you can do it on a mobile device. You could actually be a part of things on your mobile device. Now, I will say this as a detriment, or I don't know if that's the right word, but you will, if somebody wants to be a part of your Zoom, they are going to have to download the Zoom app. They have to download it either on their desktop or their mobile device. You know what I'm saying? Where, with our company, church.tv, people just go your church's website or go to a link. They don't have to download anything. That would be a little thing that you might say is a con, pros and cons. Well, and that's again the reason why I've always given people the option. Hey, if you don't want to download Zoom for whatever reason, you just go to our website and you can watch what we're doing and still enjoy the experience. You just can't participate in break rooms or have discussions.
All right. So number 7 on your list.
This is going well today, isn't it? So the other thing about it, which I like, is you can send out invitations. I mean, you can do that with anything, but it is they make it pretty easy to send out invitations. So, if you choose to use a password or you choose not to use a password, you can set up schedule. You schedule it, and then you can send out an invitation. You can use Google Calendar. You can use all the calendars, and you can what is that? Outlook, I think it is Outlook, right? That's a Windows thing, right? And what's a Mac thing? Does Mac have anything?
They call it Calendar.
All right, so you can.
With regard to the Mac tools, I'm a big Mac fan, but I don't use any of their software. So, which is kind of weird. I don't use their mail. I don't use their calendar.
I do. Yeah. I don't use the calendar because I'm a Google person, but I do use Notes quite a bit.
We are Google people. And so, you can put it on a Google Calendar and invite people to it, or you can just copy the link and email it to people. But the invitation thing's pretty slick. It works pretty well. It's not a lot of work. So again, that's one of the pros of using Zoom. And then the other point I have here is just the other things you can do. I was mentioning kind of at the top here about you could do it for Sunday mornings. But, again, common sense, we've already talked about this a little bit in the past podcasts. You could use Zoom to do, small group meetings. You could use it to do Bible studies. You could use it even to do some one-on-one if your pastoral staff or your leadership team wants to connect with people after a service Sunday morning. Zoom would be a good way to do that face-to-face, if people want to do that and communicate. And it has a little more, seeing some video can add a little bit during this difficult time of being in a pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. So just shameless plug for us within Streaming Church. You also have the ability to send invitations. Your viewers can send invitations. I guess the invitations within Zoom are sent by the host, right? To come to my meeting.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. I mean, again, I think this is a tool. There's other tools. I think you mentioned before we started to record this, or maybe it was during the beginning here. I mean, there is Google Hangouts.
Now known as Google
Meet.
Yes.
Google Meet. Sorry.
Google Meet.
Yes.
It'll get changed again in 6 months. So
I know it is kind of weird how they keep changing the names of some of their products.
Well, maybe they're not getting a lot of traction, so maybe that's why they're doing it. I don't know.
Yeah, they're not understanding why their free tool is not used as much as a paid one.
It's paid Zoom, yeah.
But I use it all the time. It works really great for me, but Google, it doesn't have these great tools that you're talking about that is on Zoom.
Yeah, there is a difference, and so again, not trying to make this an infomercial for Zoom, but maybe we'll get something. I don't know, but we have Zoom might be listening to us right now and say, "Hey,
you're going to get a free Zoom sticker out of this."
Yeah,
you're going to get a sticker to put on your computer.
They're so popular, people might, they might be, hey, these guys are. But I think, Google Meet is an option, Skype's an option, but the Zoom just has these other tools that I think are really good, and I think they're actually something that if you're involved in leadership in your church in some capacity, I'd consider doing this. Because the bottom line, what we're talking about today is pandemic is probably going to be hanging around the United States here for quite some time. Not to be a negative person here, but the truth is we ain't making much head at this point. And your problems where, you're going to have people that even if you open churches up, and some churches have, you're going to have people that aren't going to come because they're and they probably shouldn't come, especially if they're high risk. And so,
absolutely.
And even if you're not high risk, get it. You can be asymptomatic and take it home to grandpa. I mean, I don't know, but it's just these are very difficult times for people, and many people are dealing with anxiety and stress over it. And something like Zoom or some kind of a tool you can use can help alleviate some of that, and it can help people connect. We are social beings. We do, even introverts like me, we to at least have some kind of relationship and interaction with people. And for some people, that's really hard right now.
Yeah. So if I'm, oh, wow, this looks really appealing. And how does one go get started? They say, oh, let's check this out I guess you go to zoom.com or. Yeah,
zoom.us, I think, is their actual deal. And again, I hope we get paid for saying that. But it's zoom.us. Zoom.com, it will take you to their deal.
Yeah, and you just create an account, and then it'll download some software, and
that's it.
And then start playing, huh?
You can play around with it. They have some help videos. There's some pretty good stuff. And again, you can do a free account, and you can. I did a free account for a while, and then I went ahead and got a paid account, and then my church ended up getting a big paid account. They're in a higher level. I probably should cancel mine and use my church for everything. Probably is what I should do. So, but yeah, I mean, it's an option that we're just people. That's what part of what we do here with our pod church is to use technology to reach people, to help people connect, and to further the good news. And so this is an option people could use.
All right. Well, sounds good. Sounds like we've highlighted the key points.
They are the key points. In a couple of weeks, we're going to have a pastor on here who will talk about what it's like to be involved as a pastor during this time. Tucson, Arizona. Who is it? It's Josh, right? Josh Wright is going to be our guest, Michael. It's Josh, right? Is his name Josh? Unmute yourself, Michael. Silence. Crickets are chirping.
Mike has moved on.
Yeah, he's moved on with this. Mike, probably most of our listeners now have gone. But look, we'll have some people on here that as we continue to navigate difficult time, we want to be here for you. And if we can help you in a way, we are certainly going to do that. And just send us an email, support@streamingchurch.tv. and help you. Okay.